neighbor's uncle passed away in Bangladesh. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive him and grant him Jannat al-Firdaus and the family Sabr al-Jamil. Inshallah, we'll have Mona Salman's Book of Wisdoms talk now, inshallah. Well, the volunteers' talk is not in the office, it's downstairs in the main hall. All the volunteers are requested to go downstairs in the main hall. That's where the talk will be, inshallah.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. MashaAllah, it already feels like Eid. MashaAllah, everyone looks so happy, ready to go home after long days of worship and long nights of standing. You know, it feels very good, it feels very nice. Alhamdulillah, that is the feeling of Iman. You know, and it just gets me to think that on the day of Qiyamah, inshallah, after a long day of standing, after a long day of accountability, and after, there's been that separation between the mu'mineen and ghair mu'mineen, and the good doers and the non-good doers, and everyone gets their book of deeds in their right hand, we all experience that same joy and pleasure. May Allah Ta'ala make us happy on that day and grant us His sense of joy as we would on that day. So today's topic, last topic, would be regarding good manners. Regarding akhlaq. Now akhlaq, not even from an Islamic point of view, but just from a moral aspect of view, a secular aspect, having good manners is something looked up to. But in Islam it has a very special role. The Prophet ﷺ mentioned that أَكْمَلُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ إِيمَانًا أَحْسَنُهُمْ خُلُقًا, that believer who has the most perfect level of iman, right, is that person who has the best of manners. And we know that indeed in the Prophet ﷺ is a good example for us. Allah Ta'ala says in the Quran, وَإِنَّكَ لَعَلَى خُلُقٍ عَظِيمٍ. So I want to share a story about the Prophet ﷺ's example of his akhlaq and his kindness. But right before I do so, when we say good akhlaq, what does that refer to? Now, akhlaq is general, right? Having good characteristics, but there's a lot of different branches to it. And each branch is such that it can, there could be a lecture dedicated specifically for that topic. But just off the top of my, whatever I've jotted down here, I'd just like to mention, among good akhlaq is respecting the parents, right? Joining ties with your relatives, being good to your relatives, calling them every once in a while. In some families it's very strange that we're closer to our friends than we are to our families. And usually family members have, even forget about family members and relatives, even just brothers, unfortunately. So, like I said, each of these are such that they require a dedicated speech, but I'm just going to read off a few of them. وَإِفْشَاءُ السَّلَامِ, right? Greeting one another with salam. وَبَشَاشَةُ الْوَجْهِ, and displaying a good face, a happy face when doing so. This is so important. Many times we may not realize what an impact this has, that when we're greeting another Muslim brother and we, with a smiling face, say salam. So many days in my own personal experience, so many times something would happen, and I would be upset. And maybe I was outside and then some random person was yelling at me or something like that. Something would happen outside, maybe in the market or something outside. And then, or you read something and then you come to the masjid and you see brothers looking at you, smiling at you, and they're saying, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. You feel, it just changes your whole mood. It just, from a negative emotion to completely positive emotion, we don't realize the value of these things. Okay, وَالْإِحْسَانُ لِلْجِيرَانِ, being good to one's neighbors. Neighbors doesn't have to mean residential neighbors. It could be even a person that you're studying with, you're working with, etc. وَطِيبُ الْكَلَامِ, speaking good, feeding food, being kind to one's spouse, right? Doing khidmat of them, being truthful, fulfilling the amanat, etc., etc. But one thing which really stands out, and that is very pertinent to us today, because maybe many of us were in itikaf, and maybe we had to stay over here with different brothers, and maybe over time, as Mufti Manhaj was saying, that it always happens. Shaitan's plan is that there's enmity which eventually grows. We start getting frustrated. So there was one Sahabi who the Prophet ﷺ gave glad tidings of paradise. So just like how we're sitting over here today right now, similarly the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, they were sitting with the Prophet ﷺ once. And the Prophet ﷺ said that soon a man will appear and he's going to be from the people of paradise. So everyone was curious to know who that was, and everyone was eager to know who that was. So everyone was waiting and looking, and they see a brother walk through the door, and that was Sa'ad ibn Abi Waqqas radiallahu anhu. The following day, the same thing happened, that the Sahaba, the Prophet ﷺ was sitting down, and then the Prophet ﷺ made the same remark, that a person is about to walk in and he's going to be from the people of paradise. Again, everyone's looking, maybe it's a different person. Yesterday he mentioned this, today it could be a different person. But they saw that the same person had walked in. And then the third day, right, again the Sahaba, the Prophet ﷺ was sitting, same thing happened. Everyone thought it was going to be, maybe it's a different person, but they saw it's the same. So among the attendees, there was one Sahabi, Abdullah ibn Umar radiallahu anhu. He was the son of Umar radiallahu anhu. So he was like, all right, that's it. I got to find out what's up with this person. Who is this person over here that the Prophet ﷺ keeps give glad tidings of paradise about? So what he did was that at nighttime, he went to this Sa'ad ibn Abi Waqqas radiallahu anhu's house, and he knocked on the door. And he said, oh, I'm a person in need. I need help. So Sa'ad ibn Abi Waqqas radiallahu anhu, he asked, should we give you something, or do you want to step in? Meaning that, are you a person who doesn't have a place to stay and it needs to stay overnight? Or do you need some food or something like that? I can just give to you, and then that will fulfill your need. So he said, no, I'd like to enter, meaning that I need a place to stay. So Abdullah ibn Umar radiallahu anhu, his whole purpose was just to see, what is it about this person that the Prophet ﷺ gave him glad tidings of paradise 3 times, 3 days in a row? So what he did was that Sa'ad ibn Abi Waqqas, he gave him a place to sleep, and he gave him a cloth, and he laid him down. And after that, Sa'ad ibn Abi Waqqas also, he lied down. Abdullah ibn Umar radiallahu anhu, he stayed up all night to try to see, what is it about this person? So he didn't notice anything very significant the first night. So the first night he saw that towards the end, tahajjud time, he got up, he made wudu, and he prayed salah. After salah, he wasn't crying excessively. It wasn't like he was praying all night. He prayed short rakats. And Abdullah ibn Umar radiallahu anhu, he was describing the incident, and he mentioned that he was reciting from the last 10 surahs, like Qul Huwallahu Ahad, the short surahs. It's not like he was reading Surah Baqarah and Surah Al Imran and things like that, the long surahs. Then what happened is that he just made this dua, those 3 duas that he, Rabbana Atina Fid Dunya Hasana, the very common ones that we always hear, and then that's it. That was the end of his night. So then Abdullah ibn Umar radiallahu anhu, he started thinking to himself, okay, I didn't see anything significant here. Maybe he was just being shy. Maybe he's a person that cries and he prays all night, but because I was there, maybe he felt a bit shy to do that in front of me. So what I'll do is, I'll do the same thing tonight. And then the next night, same thing happened. He stayed over at his house, and he didn't notice anything significant, right, that stands out. He just prayed a short tahajjud, and that's it. He went back to sleep. The third night, this happened again. And then after that, Abdullah ibn Umar radiallahu anhu, he couldn't take it. He's like, no, I have to find out. 3 days in a row, I tried to find out, I couldn't find out. He went directly to Sa'ad ibn Waqqas, and he's like, listen, what is it about you that the Prophet ﷺ granted and gave glad tidings of paradise to you 3 times? So then Sa'ad ibn Waqqas radiallahu anhu, he's like, look, I'm a straightforward person, right? I'm not doing anything that I don't do, right? Or it's not like I didn't do anything that I used to do. This is my a'mal, this is what I do. And Abdullah ibn Umar was like surprised. He's like, okay, that's it? And he's like, yeah, that's it. But then he said, however, there is this one action that I do, right? Which is that every day, every night before I sleep, it's my habit that I do not keep any ill feeling towards my Muslim brother. And then Abdullah ibn Umar radiallahu anhu was like, okay, this is that particular amal. This has to be that amal. There's nothing else that I saw. Everyone else was, the Sahaba were such that many of them would stand at night, right? In the Quran, Allah Ta'ala talks about it, إِنَّ رَبَّكَ يَعْلَمُ أَنَّكَ تَقُومُ أَدْنَى مِنْ ثُلُثَيِ اللَّيْلِ. A lot of Sahaba would stand up, and they would stand up half the night, 2/3 of the night. So it wasn't that the tahajjud. So when Abdullah ibn Umar was told about that forgiveness aspect, then he said, okay, that has to be that particular amal. That really stands out. Likewise, we were here for some time, and we're together, and maybe, as mentioned, there was a lot of frustration, there was a lot of excitement, and now we should all forgive one another. So I'll be the first one to ask forgiveness from everyone if I did anything, inshallah, while I was here. And so that was one story, and then there was another story I wanted to share, and inshallah that will probably be the last thing, because there's a lot of packing up, etc. to do. So the Prophet ﷺ, he had 4 daughters, as we know. One was Fatima radiallahu anhu, whose name we probably hear the most. She was married to Ali radiallahu anhu. Aside from that, the Prophet ﷺ had 3 more daughters. One is Ruqayya, one is Khulthum, and one is Zainab radiallahu anhunna. So Ruqayya and Khulthum radiallahu anhuma, they were married to Uthman radiallahu anhu, one after the other. And the 4th daughter, whose name was Zainab radiallahu anha, she was the 4th daughter of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So Zainab was the daughter of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam from Khadija radiallahu anhu. She was married to a person named Abu al-As ibn Rabi', who was a wealthy businessman of Makkah and a nephew of Khadija radiallahu anha. Zainab radiallahu anha and Abu al-Abbas had been married before the dawn of prophethood. She was a bit elderly. So what happened was that the Prophet ﷺ and Khadija, she got married before the Prophet ﷺ claimed nubuwwat at the age of 40. She was already married before that. So she was already married to a disbeliever. She had then accepted Islam, but he remained a disbeliever. In the battle of Badr, he fought on the side of Quraysh. He fought on the side of the disbelievers. And as we know, in the battle of Badr, the Muslims won. So this husband was taken captive by the Muslims and brought to Medina. And as it was decided that the captives would be released on payment of a ransom, so what happened is that when the captives were in Medina, there was a mashwara, there was a meeting regarding what to do with the captives. Some said to kill them, others said no, let's free them and take ransom in place of them. So then that was what was decided. So what happened is that there were, you could say, a bunch of captives. Each had relatives in Mecca. So the people of Mecca were informed that we're going to give these captives in ransom to you. This person will be given for this much. This person will be given for this much. So likewise, this husband of Zainab radiallahu anha was also given as captive. So when it was decided that the captives would be released on payment of a ransom, Zainab radiallahu anha sent some wealth, which included a necklace given to her by her mother, Khadija radiallahu anha. Then when Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam saw the necklace, compassion overtook him, and he asked the Sahaba radiallahu anhum if they were willing to return the necklace of Zainab radiallahu anha and return Abu al-Abbas without payment of a ransom. Whatever money was going to be collected from the ransom, that would be the money of like Baytul Mal. That would be the general funds, right? The Prophet ﷺ, he had a personal attachment to that necklace because it was the necklace of his beloved wife Khadija radiallahu anha, and she wanted that the daughter, right, have it. That's why, and that was a gift to her from the Khadija radiallahu anha. So when Nabi ﷺ saw that was being offered as a ransom for the husband, he said that no, he asked the Sahaba, it wasn't just from his own side. He didn't use his personal authority to say, no, that's not going to be given. He made sure that everyone is okay with that. He made sure, and this is a lesson for us that whenever there's like a general fund, right, it should not be that just a few people, like if you have like a few brothers and you say, like it happens, if you're going on a road trip, everyone put in $5, and then let's say that you order food that like most people like but a few people don't like, and it was never discussed, You just ordered it. So since it's everybody's money, everyone has a right to it, then everyone needs to be consulted regarding that. So just moving forward, when Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam saw the necklace, compassion overtook him and he asked the Sahaba radiallahu anhu if they were willing to return the necklace to Zainab radiallahu anha and return Abu al-Abbas without payment of a ransom, and then they agreed. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam instructed Abu al-Abbas to allow Zainab radiallahu anha to come to him in Medina in return for his freedom, and he agreed. She was still, after the Muslims moved to Medina, the daughter was still in Medina, Mecca, with her husband. When he reached Mecca, Abu al-Abbas allowed Zainab radiallahu anha to leave for Medina, but she was stopped by the Quraysh. She was stopped by Quraysh, as a spear was thrown at her by Habbar ibn Aswad, and she fell from her conveyance, causing her to bleed severely. She was pregnant at the time, and this also led to a miscarriage. So the Prophet ﷺ freed the husband and sent him to Mecca and said that I will send you back on condition that you let my daughter Zainab radiallahu anha come and visit Medina, because he didn't allow her before that. And he said okay. And then when he sent her, he was a good person, he was a truthful person, honest person. He sent the daughter towards Medina. But what happened was that this person, Habbar bin Aswad, from behind he threw a spear, and this led to a miscarriage. And she never recovered from her wound, and she passed away during the 8th year of Hijri in Medina because of that same wound. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam entered her grave with great sadness and sorrow, but emerged pleased. He explained, I remembered her weakness and I asked Allah to make it easy for her in the grave, and my request was granted. Habbar ibn Aswad came to Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam during the conquest of Mecca. He was from amongst those people whom the Muslim army had been commanded to kill. There was a few people that were very rebellious, and they had such strong enmity towards Islam that it was unlikely that they were going to submit. So when in the 8th Hijri, when the Muslims went back to Mecca and conquered Mecca, he was among those people that were supposed to be killed on sight. So as he entered the gathering of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, a Sahabi wanted to attack him, but Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam commanded the Sahabi not to do so. Habbar then addressed Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, said, Peace be upon you, O Prophet of Allah. I bear witness that there is no deity worthy of worship but Allah, and I bear witness that Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is a Prophet of Allah. I had fled from you, intending to join another tribe, but I remembered the kindness you displayed to your close family members and your forgiveness to those who were ignorant of you. O Prophet of Allah, we were a nation steeped in disbelief, but Allah guided us and saved us from destruction through you. Please pardon my ignorance and the harm I have inflicted upon you. I confess to my evil action and I acknowledge my sin. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam replied, I have forgiven you. Allah has surely been kind to you by guiding you to Islam. So the lesson here is, my dear respected brothers and sisters, is that look at the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He's such a beautiful example for us that he's willing to forgive a person who killed not only his daughter but his future grandchild as well. And we unfortunately fight over small issues, and we're not able to forgive one another for that. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive us all for our shortcomings and grant us love and unity among each other. And we'll just make a short dua because there will be a longer dua inshallah with Mufti Azim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, wassalatu wassalamu ala sayyidil anbiya al mursaleen. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim. Ya Allah, please forgive us. O Allah, whatever shortcomings we have, whatever mistakes we have made, any person that we have harmed in the past, O Allah, please forgive us for all of that. O Allah, please accept our coming here. O Allah, please accept our listening. O Allah, please accept our sitting. O Allah, please accept all of our acts of worship. O Allah, please forgive our parents. O Allah, please forgive our siblings and our children. O Allah, please forgive our neighbors and forgive all the Muslims throughout the world, O Allah. O Allah, O Rahman, O Rahim, O Allah, please keep us steadfast in Iman, keep us steadfast in A'mal. We've been in this environment, this masjid environment in the month of Ramadan. It was very easy to control ourselves, control our desires, control our nafs, save our eyes from haram, save our ears from haram. O Allah, we're going to go back outside in the world. O Allah, it's easy to get tempted, so please keep us steadfast in Iman. Allow us the tawfiq to step away from sin. Grant us the tawfiq to be patient, O Allah. O Allah, please protect us from all the calamities, from all different types of calamities, all different types of fitna, especially the fitnas of Iman. O Allah, please accept us and allow us tawfiq to die upon Iman and to be raised among the mu'mineen. Wa sallallahu ta'ala ala khayri khalqi Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in bi rahmatika ya arhamar rahimin.
Assalamu alaikum. Those brothers with their bedding and items still downstairs or in the side prayer hall, we ask that you pack them all up and bring them to the lobby. Put them on the left-hand side over here. And there's still 11 more cars in the welder's lot. If your car is still there and you want us to move it, please give us the keys. If not, you'll have to move it yourself.